What's up, everyone? You're listening to Confessions of a Gym Rat, getting you through the 9 to 5 as healthily and happily as possible. If you are watching this on YouTube, I think that says enough. I have ventured into the YouTube space now, so this is the first episode of my podcast that you will be able to listen or watch along on YouTube as well. I don't know what I'm doing, full disclaimer, but I heard from a lot of you guys that you would like to see video content to watch the podcast, which it's just me. So it's just me talking the whole time. So here I am dabbling into that space. It was something that I never really thought of because personally I listen to like the podcasts that I listen to when I'm driving in the car to work or when I'm working, but it is like a really popular thing now for people to want to watch their podcasts. So here I am in my nice little setup. If you're not watching on YouTube, I'll paint a little tiny visual. I obviously don't have a real podcast space and studio. So I am set up kind of in the corner of my room, have my mirror to my left. Above me, it's kind of cut off, but my little "you're like really pretty" neon sign that glows pink because I love everything pink. And that's it. Got a laptop in front of me. I got my phone so I can answer questions later on. But yeah, that's what we're doing. We're doing YouTube now. So if you are interested in checking out the videos, my YouTube is just Lifts with Liz. No shocker there. Anyway, happy Monday, folks. I hope, hello, that you're having a fantastic start to your week. A lot has happened in the past week. A lot has happened, and I can't get through this episode without telling you guys why I fucking hate Ticketmaster. So I told you guys last week I signed up for the Morgan Wallen verified pre-fan sale. And I'm not really a fan of this whole verified pre-fan sale thing to begin with because I think it's bullshit. And you guys heard me rant about Taylor Swift, but just in case you weren't listening, quick little recap. So Ticketmaster's doing this thing now where in an attempt to only have tickets go to verified fans, which isn't happening anyway, they're making you sign up for this pre-sale in advance, and you'll put in your email, like your Ticketmaster email or whatever, and then they'll tell you like 3 days before. So they would tell you on Tuesday if you're part of this verified fan sale. And the whole Taylor Swift thing was a shit show. We're not even going to get into that. But they came out, Ticketmaster, on like Wednesday or something, and they were like, oh, yeah, so due to high demand of Morgan Wallen tickets, we're not doing a regular sale. It's just going to be the verified fan sale. So that's red flag number one. I'm like, okay, so you're telling me that Ticketmaster is randomly selecting who can buy tickets and who can't? Is there no red flags in there? Just let that sink in. The only way that you can get tickets to Morgan Wallen's tour, besides resale, which is ridiculously priced, the only way that you can get tickets is if you sign up for the pre-sale and Ticketmaster randomly selects you to be part of the pre-sale. Is that not fucked up? Does that not sound fucked up to anybody at Ticketmaster? Is it just me who thinks that that's fucked up? Whatever. So luckily enough, I got a text on Tuesday or something. I don't know. I guess it was Tuesday. Congratulations, you've been selected to be part of Morgan Wallen's verified fan sale. They gave me a date that was like an additional tour date that he put up like after I signed up for the pre-sale. So thank God I'm free that day too, because that's not the one I even signed up for. Whatever. So I had put in my email. My mom had put in her email. So my mom texted me and was like, oh, I waitlisted. And I was like, oh, I didn't get a text yet. Finally got the text. I'm like, okay, at least one of us has got it. 2 p.m. Friday. I don't got any meetings at that time. It says the waiting room will be available a half hour before. Make sure you're using your Ticketmaster email and the direct link from the text that they'll send you. So I'm like, okay, buddies. Still fucked up, but okay. So Friday, so I'm recording this on Saturday. This happened yesterday. I'm not fully recovered, which is why I need to discuss it right now. So I get the text yesterday. This is your code. This is the link to use. I'm like, cool. I sat down at like 1:42. Don't ask me why I remember the exact number. And I'm like, oh shit, the waiting room opened 10 minutes ago. Let me get in the waiting room just so I don't have any problems. I send myself the link so I can like go on through my computer. Click on the link. I sign into my Ticketmaster account. It says, there's a big button that says join the wait room. I click it. We're sorry. This email is not registered to a verified fan account. This sale is only for verified fans. Please check back later. And I'm like, no. This email, like, I quite literally got the email to this account. So I'm like, let me try it on my phone. Just clicking the link directly from the text message they sent me. Same thing. I sign out. I sign back in. Same thing. I DM Ticketmaster support on Twitter. They go, please use the email that you, please use the account that you got the email for. I'm like, hello? I am. And they're like, your code is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I know what my code is. Please look up my my picture, because I sent them a picture of the error, and figure it out. So meanwhile, I find a number for Ticketmaster support on the phone. I'm on hold. It's 1:58. I'm still on hold. I'm DMing Ticketmaster support on Twitter, being such a troll, and I'm like, there's 2 minutes until this sale starts, and you guys said high demand, so am I gonna get screwed over because of you guys? I finally get through to somebody on the phone. First of all, I had to tell him 5 times in a row that my name is Liz. He's like, what's your email? I give him my email. He's like, okay, and what's your name? I'm like, Liz, and my last name's W-E-I. And he's like, what? And I'm like, what? And he's like, Liz, what? And I said, no, Liz. And then my last name's W-E-I. And he's like, what's your name? And I'm like, oh my God, my name is Liz. And he's like, okay, just first name. And I'm like, okay, sorry, dude. So I give him the rundown, and he's like, all right, let me put you on hold. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm on hold forever. Nothing's happening. I'm still trying on my computer, getting the same error message. Ticketmaster support over Twitter is just not answering me anymore, probably because I blew up their DMs. And the guy comes back on, and he's like, I'm on the other line with the resolutions team, I think he said. We're trying to figure out like why your email's not working, because yes, like that email did receive access to the verified fan sale. And I'm like, yes, I know, buddy. I'm like, but it's like, we're like 18 minutes in, and I feel like my shot's a little bit ruined because you guys said this was going to be high demand. And he's like, well, I can't check if there's tickets or not still, but there's still people in the line, so I think there is. And I'm like, well, there was still a line for Taylor Swift when there was no tickets. And he's like, I understand, ma'am, but this isn't Taylor Swift. I'm like, well, it's pretty damn close, because you guys changed nothing about the process. So I'm on hold for fucking ever with this guy. My mom texts me, and she's like, I just got a text that I'm off the wait list. Here's the code. Here's my login info. So I'm like, fine, go ahead. Meanwhile, this guy comes back on the phone, and he's like, can you hold for a few more minutes? And I'm like, yeah, sure, buddy, whatever. Fuck you. I didn't say that. I feel bad. It wasn't his fault. I finally get tickets into my cart on my mom's account. It was like, I kept clicking on stuff, and it was like, I click and it goes, sorry, these seats aren't available anymore. Sorry, these seats aren't available anymore. I finally grabbed 2 seats for like a little over $100 in the 300 section. Whatever. I get to the checkout page, and the checkout page is having a goddamn seizure. I shit you not. This thing is just flash, 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 flash. So I'm trying to type in my address, but I don't even know what box I'm in. So I was like, fuck it. We're going in blind. All your month's worth of online shopping has prepared you for this moment. You know what these boxes are in your heart. Just go. So I'm like trying to type while trying to not spaz out as the computer's having a seizure. I finally check out. So I got tickets, guys. Most important thing, I got tickets. I'm fine, I'm going. But the guy comes back on the phone. At this point, our call is like an hour and 6 minutes long. And he's like, your email should be working now. So I go in through my own email and I'm like, yeah, it's working now. Thanks for fixing that. But the only tickets left are $550. So not telling them that I got tickets off my mom's account. I'm like, I feel like you guys should give me something in compensation for this grave error, for fucking this up severely for me. And he's like, it's not my fault. And I'm like, no, I know it's not your fault, but it's Ticketmaster's fault. And he's like, well, I can't give you anything like in compensation because there are still tickets available, but I can escalate this to like somebody who can maybe compensate you for something. So I was like, yeah, fine, fucking escalate it. So somebody this week is going to reach out to me from Ticketmaster. I'm hoping that I can get some dollars shaved off those tickets I got. Like, give me a little $50 gift card or something. Because not for nothing, I take concerts very seriously. I love music. I love live music, and seeing, like, I think that a concert, especially with a good friend, is a really good use of money. With that being said, Ticketmaster, if you want to compensate me for literally fucking all my shit up, I think I'm owed that. I don't know. I think I'm owed that. So I'll keep you guys updated on what Ticketmaster says, but moral of the story is I am going to see Morgan Wallen, and I am extremely hyped. Country music is so controversial, but if you, and not all country music, I'll say that. If you take a second and like listen to one of Morgan Wallen's songs, or at least just like the instrumentals, the guy's damn talented. And I appreciate that. Plus, you could not like country music. A country music concert is the best type of concert. Hat on, boots on, beers everywhere, especially at like where I am in Jersey. There's this outdoor like amphitheater or whatever they call it, called PNC Bank Art Center. Yeah. Country concerts there are the best. You get like, so you could pay extra for seats that you actually sit in, or you could just sit on the lawn and it's general admission. But for a country concert, it's like, bring a folding chair, get yourself a nice tall boy. We're chilling. It's a great time. But that's my debacle of the week. Other than that, that's really it. I said that it's been a crazy week, but honestly, that was it. I have an exciting week ahead of me, actually, because I'm learning how to snowboard on Wednesday after work. I'm a little bit nervous just because I don't want to, like, I feel like I've been wanting to do this for a while, snowboard, and like nothing just works out for me, you know? Like, I'll get really excited for something, and then it was like when I went to go see that play with Jesse Williams in it, and then I showed up and Jesse Williams wasn't there. So I have this feeling in my gut, like I'm going to twist something and then not be able to lift, or I don't know. So pray for me, but I'm starting real slow and real easy, and it's something that I've been wanting to do. Plus it's like, it's just a different form of exercise. You know, I love weightlifting. I really, really do. It's my favorite form of exercise. I don't know why I just said that, like I needed to validate that when you guys obviously know that. But there's other ways to move, you know? You can stay active and live a healthy lifestyle and not resistance train 4 or 5 times a week. So I'm excited to start incorporating like a new challenge into my life. And also, I feel like whenever my friends go on ski trips or stuff, like I've never really gone because then they'll like go skiing and boarding. And I don't know how to do that. So it's like, why am I going to spend my money right now to go sit in a house when I could just sit in my own house if I'm not going to spend the day with you guys anyway? So I'm excited to learn a winter sport and be part of that community. I don't have much of a TV update for you guys this week. I've been busy. I've been busy with like work and life and getting my shit together. So I haven't watched that much TV. But last night, I'm trying to do this thing during like the winter now, where like once a week I watch a new movie, because there's so many movies I haven't seen. Like I haven't seen The Godfather, which is stupid for me to like it. I don't know why I haven't seen that. What else? I haven't seen Blades of Glory. I really want to see Blades of Glory. There's like a lot. Like there's a lot of classic movies that I haven't seen. I don't need to get into it. Yesterday, I watched This Is Where I Leave You on HBO Max with Jason Bateman, Kathryn Hahn, Tina Fey was in it, Adam Driver was in it, Jane Fonda was in it. I literally went under the category that said like stacked cast or something like that. And the only thing that I've seen Jason Bateman in is the 2 episodes of Ozark that I've watched. So I gave it a shot. And it was good. It was like a rated R, like it was like one of those like funny type of movies, like Will Ferrell type comedy. But nobody does it like Will Ferrell. So it was good. And it made me laugh and like I liked it. But it wasn't like the best thing I've seen ever. It's a nice casual view. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 44%, which like I kind of feel in this case is like kind of accurate, maybe a little low. But I'm genuinely curious what goes into these Rotten Tomato scores, because there's been movies, like there's some movies, like I'm pretty sure High School Musical 2 is in the 90s, okay? High School Musical 2 is not my favorite out of all the High School Musicals. High School Musical 3, and then I can't really choose in between 1 and 2. 1's a classic, but it's what really like throws me for the loop, makes me question it, is the fact that Drew Seeley sings for Zac Efron. But that's not the point. I don't understand what goes into these Rotten Tomato scores. So I don't really like take that as anything unless it's like really low. Like I put on a Sylvester Stallone movie, like a new one, a few months ago. I was like 5 minutes in. I'm like, this shit's really boring. Should I give it a chance? And then I looked up that it had like a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I was like, I don't fucking know what Rotten Tomatoes is composed of, but this validates me in this moment. I'll fight Rotten Tomatoes on other stuff, but I didn't see that movie through, and I'm comfortable sitting on the fact agreeing that it's probably 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. Anyway, though, that's my little 2 cents for the week. I'm looking at like my laptop now. I've been talking for 19 minutes, and a lot of those 19 minutes was me ranting about my Ticketmaster problems. So thank you for that, for listening. We have a stacked episode today. So I'm going to be talking about something in the main part of this podcast that I think is super, super important, especially for both girls and boys around my age demographic. I'm going to be discussing undereating and how we should be. Oh, you know what I wanted to talk about? Hold on. I want to talk about my nails. I'm sorry. I'll finish that thought in a second. But I just put my hands up in case you're watching on YouTube and saw my nails through like the camera and was like, oh my God, how did I forget to talk about these? I finally made the switch. If you're on YouTube, you can look at my pearly white nails. I made the switch to coffin shape. I bit the bullet and I did it. I've been a square gal my whole life, and I knew. So I never went for coffin because I was just like, oh, they won't do well with me lifting. But I started to get gel fill instead of gel polish. Okay, so this is actually relevant. If you're a girl or a boy and you like to get your nails done and you go to the gym, listen to this. So up until like April, like March or April, I had been getting just a regular gel manicure. because they last longer than regular polish, whatever. But my nails, I like them like a medium length, like not like claws, but not stubs. They kept chipping in the gym, or like, God forbid, I grip a dumbbell wrong and then one nail like splits down the center or something. And it was like starting to piss me off that I was like, why am I spending money on getting a manicure and then like my nails breaking? So I switched to a new salon, and I think it happened by accident. I was like, can I have a gel manicure? And she was like, gel fill. And I was like, yeah. And I kind of knew that didn't sound right, but I was like, I'm just going to go with it. Sure. So the gel fill is when they put that pink gooey stuff on first, and it hardens on your nail. My desk is wood, knock on wood. I have not broken a nail since then. I've like dropped a barbell or a dumbbell before, and I feel my nail scrape, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And then I look down, and my nail's fine. So now that I have nice, sturdy, unbreakable nails, I went with the coffin, because they're not super pointy. The stiletto nails freak me out. Though, like, I can't put my contacts in with stiletto nails. But these are nice. They're like a nice little shape. They look a little mature. Really good for a back scratch. Just a little tidbit, a little FYI there. And I got the chrome powder over it to make it so it's like not white, but it's like a pearly white. I'm showing my hands for those on YouTube. But I pulled up a picture from like my Pinterest of the chrome like white nails that I wanted. I'm an avid Pinterest user. And I showed the nail guy, I'm like, I don't really schedule like a certain person at my nail salon because they're all good. So I show this guy, I've never had him before. And I'm like, do you have a color like this? And he's like, that's chrome. And I'm like, okay, do you have that? And he's like, yeah, but that's going to cost you extra. And I'm like, okay, so it cost me extra, like whatever. So he's sitting there doing my nails, filing them. And he just like looks over at the chrome next to him. And he's like, this is extra work for me. And I'm like, ha. But in my head, I'm like, what? Like, okay. And do you know how many times in a workday, like somebody tells me to do something that I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't want to do this. Or when I worked in retail and somebody had an annoying order. Like, I'm not asking you to put like intricate little flowers. I could have asked him to draw the fucking Grinch on my nails right now for Christmas, because people do that. All I fucking asked for was chrome nail polish. And like the owner ended up doing for me. It took 5 seconds. All she did was dab it on and then smudge it. That's it. So I didn't appreciate the sass. But my nails look fantastic. And I don't think I'll be going back from Coffin because I'm really obsessed with them and I can't stop looking at them. So if you are watching on YouTube and you see me looking at my hands throughout this episode, it's just because I'm being a little narcissistic and I can't stop looking at my nails. Anyway, though, back to what I was saying. Great episode ahead. I'm going to be talking about undereating and how people, like a lot of people are unfortunately undereating and not aware of it. So we're going to dive into everything on that. I don't want to give too much away because it'll make more sense when I talk about it later. And then I have a fantastic interview with my good friend Dylan Vazquez at the end of this episode. It will not be on YouTube because like I said, this is like a new thing for me and I didn't obtain anyone's consent from any of my interviews so far to go on YouTube. I know that not everybody's like really comfortable with it. So interviews you might not see too much on YouTube, but Dylan is a great friend and he's in the New Jersey area, fantastic photographer, bodybuilder, night nurse. You guys are going to enjoy this conversation because he does it all. And we talk about other nonsense and fun banter and stuff. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this week's episode. All right, let's get into the highlights for this week. So I always start with my non-fitness related highlight, and this one, ladies and gentlemen, if you're as into buying clothes as I am, pay attention. So this weekly highlight I decided to pick out because it can somewhat benefit you in one way, and it's not just me talking, but on, what day was it? Wednesday, I guess. So I should preface by saying where I work, like my actual office, there's a mall literally across the street. So from time to time, like some of us will go to the mall. If I have to run errands, like I'll go to the mall during lunch. Really weird feeling, by the way. Like doing things during the day when everyone's working is really weird. And even at lunchtime, so like I'll go and I'll pop in and the mall is just like practically empty. Everyone that's in there is like a stay-at-home mom or like someone that's retired. And it's almost like a forbidden fruit, not to be dramatic, but it's like, ooh, like it's the work day. Like I shouldn't be here right now. I should be in my office. I'm cracking up because that's so stupid. Obviously you're allowed to do things on your lunch break, but it's still, you guys get what I'm saying? Like it's kind of a weird vibe. Anyway, on Wednesday, my best friend in the office was like, hey, I gotta go to the mall and run some errands during lunch. You want to come for a half hour and then we'll come back and eat for the rest? So I'm like, hell yeah, I want to go to the fucking mall. Bring my wallet because I know the two of us are an unstoppable, indestructible, reckless force when it comes to our credit cards. We are not good for each other, but at the same time, I would die without her. So we went into American Eagle. She had to return something. American Eagle is having half off their outerwear. Just wanted to throw that out there. So it got my wheels turning. They're having half off jackets, like denim jackets, all that kind of stuff. So I saw this like one jacket that was like really furry and I was like, oh, I kind of want it, but it's like $80. So it's still going to be kind of expensive. I don't need it. I was like, let's walk around like and run the other errands and then I'll come back to it. So we walk out of American Eagle and directly next door, just look right into the window of Forever 21, which I haven't been actually in Forever 21 in like ages or actually bought something from there. Because Forever 21's, at least in my home mall, are just always a shit show. I see this perfect jacket right in front of my eyes. I'll see if I can add a picture for those on YouTube if I can find it online. So furry. Just a black. So imagine like Yasmin from the Bratz, like the coats that she wore. That's the only way I could describe it, is it looks like something that a Bratz doll would wear. So I go in, and Forever 21 does this like annoying thing where they just don't put prices on some of their price tags. It makes no sense. So I'm like, excuse me, how much is this coat? And she's like, oh, all of our outerwear, them too, I guess, is half off. This coat is $20. So I'm like, $20? That's a steal. And Tamara, my coworker, is like, that's a steal, Liz. And I'm like, all right, snag. So we keep walking around. I found this awesome sweater, also half off. It has like, I call them bubble pony arms. So you know the bubble ponytail everyone does, with like little sections and it looks like jasmine hair? That's how the two sleeves looked. $15, half off. I said, get in the bag. Get in the bag. You're coming home with me. And then last but not least, we got matching necklaces. I know, really, it's so fifth grade of us, but mine says Taurus, since I'm a Taurus, and hers says Libra. I think she's a Libra. The end of September. I don't know. But yeah, I spent $40 on 3 items, and 2 of them being heavy items, like a sweater and a jacket. You don't find that for cheap. So hopefully those 2 sales are still going on by the time that you're listening to this. But if you're in need or just curious, want some outerwear and winter clothes, American Eagle and Forever 21 right now are having great deals. I don't know if they're having them online. I haven't checked, but that might be something that you should take a little dabble into. Anyway, that's my non-health and fitness related highlight of the week. My fitness related highlight, I'm gonna go again. I know I did this a few weeks ago, but I'm gonna say that my gluten hammies day overall just really killed me. It's hard for my hamstrings to feel sore. I don't know if this makes sense, but I think the reason why is because they're really tight. My my hamstrings are very tight, and it's something I've been actively, obviously, trying to work on, and I stretch, so, that's my problem. It's my business. Don't worry about it. But it's very hard for my hamstrings to feel sore. I woke up yesterday morning after my hamstring day, and I was pleasantly surprised that I couldn't bend over or bend down without feeling like my legs were going to detach from my butt cheeks. So I did something that I changed up this week. I normally do sumo deadlifts. And I don't know, I was feeling a little funky, and I went with conventional this week. I don't really like conventional as much. I like sumo because it targets more, the sumo stance puts more emphasis on the glutes, and personally, I'm always trying to grow the glutes. So I normally do sumo every week, but I was like, let's switch it up. You haven't done this in a while. Conventional deadlifts have their own benefits. Let's do it. So I definitely think that having that type of movement that I haven't done in a while in my workout contributed to the fact of why I still can't feel my hamstrings. Just a little like quick tidbit add on to that before I close out this segment. I wasn't aware of this until I went to the chiropractor last winter. Tight hamstrings can give you back problems. Yep. I've mentioned this before, last winter, my lower back got very inflamed. And when I went to the chiropractor and the physical therapist, they were like, you have tight hamstrings? Cause she felt them. And I'm like, yeah, those babies tight. Apparently I'm going to explain this wrong because I'm not a doctor, but your hamstrings being tight can compress your spine, like the lower part of your spine, the lumbar spine. Hello, tripping on my own words. And just puts a lot of pressure on there. So that's how that can hurt that. So if you've been having back problems, in addition to making sure your form's right, stretch those hammies. Stretch those hammies. All right. So I kind of mentioned this in the intro, but I am going to talk about undereating today. And if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, I don't undereat, I'm fine, you're probably undereating. It's very common. A lot of people are. So I've mentioned this before, tracking food is not healthy for everyone. I'm able to track my food in a healthy way. And also, since I've been doing it for a while, it's I have a pretty good gauge of around ballpark, how much I eat in a day without tracking. Some people are not able to track in a healthy way. It can really F you up mentally. But if you're kind of on the fence, you don't know where you're at, you've never tried tracking before, I would recommend giving yourself a week. Give yourself a nice solid week of being really honest and tracking what you eat and see how much it is. I find with the majority of my clients that they don't think they're under-eating, and then they tell me how much they're eating or track how much they're eating, and it's they're under-eating by 600 calories every day during the week, and then go out on the weekends and go out to dinner and have a drink and blah, blah, blah. So it's almost they're starving themselves for 5 days and then, quote unquote, binging on the weekends. And I want to stop there for a second and just put out a statement here. I am all for 80-20. You guys know this. It's your life, dude. You do what you want to enjoy it and make the most out of it. I go out to eat on the weekends. I go to the bars on the weekends. I have a drink. But it's harmful to our bodies when we're starving ourselves during the week and then eating, let's say we go out to eat and drink and we're eating a normal amount for our bodies or a little bit over for what our maintenance would be. On the weekends, your body gets very confused, and that's a reason why a lot of people who struggle to, let's say, lose weight or gain muscle, struggle. So I hear it a lot actually with my clients and friends and whatnot that are trying to lose weight. And they're like, I'm eating in a deficit, blah, 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 or like, how much should I be eating? And I see that they're way under eating and then doing whatever, enjoying themselves on the weekends, and their body's in shock. And that's why they're not seeing proper results. I've also seen it with a few of my friends, like even in guys too, being like, what am I doing wrong? I'm eating this amount of calories a day. Like, how come I'm not gaining weight? And then I'll be like, I want you to get a $10 Amazon food scale, or just track everything as honestly as you can and get back to me. And then we'll see what's going on. One of my friends texted me like yesterday, honestly, and this is part of the reason why I wanted to talk about it this episode, just because she kind of inspired me. She had texted me earlier this week and was like, I just don't know. I don't know if I've been feeding my body properly. She wasn't sure. She didn't know. Like, it wasn't like something had tipped her off. She was like, I think I'm just going to count my calories this week and see where I'm at and make sure that I'm eating like at maintenance, like enough to nourish my body. So I was like, yeah, it's a great idea. I'm all for that. Do it for a week. Make sure that what you're eating is enough for you, and then go on your business. Go about your ways. Keep doing what you're doing. Change what you're doing. Whatever. So she got back to me yesterday at the end of the week, and she was like, I'm eating like 18,000 calories a day. 18,000 to 2,000 calories a day. And I'm not, like, I don't want to disclose her, like, personal information or, like, anything that, like, I just want to keep her identity, what's it called? What's it called when they're, like, when someone's, like, unknown? Not, like, incognito. Not ambiguous. I can't think of the word, but I'm keeping her identity a secret. That's the point. Like, it's not going to be disclosed. But for like her weight, because it goes off of body weight really, I was like, oh honey, you've been under eating by like 600 calories a day. Like, I'm like, you're, based on her weight and her activity level, I'm like, you burn about 2,600 calories on an active day. You got to be eating more. And I'm so proud of her because she's so knowledgeable and smart and just in tune with herself. She was like, yeah, I'm realizing that I'm under eating, and I think it's a problem that I am under eating like 5-6 days a week, and then I go out on the weekends and eat out, and my body's probably confused. And I said, friend who has no name, couldn't have said it better myself. You don't even need me. You got it under control. So I highly, highly, highly recommend, if you're at a point where you're struggling and you feel very frustrated, to be honest with yourself and track for a week and see what you're really eating. I personally never had a problem where I was under eating because I love food and I love to snack, but I didn't realize that I was overeating for like a good 2 years before, like when I started lifting. I thought like, okay, I'm eating like eggs and an English muffin for breakfast. I'm eating a smoothie bowl for lunch, blah, blah, blah. Everything I was putting into my body they were healthy options. I was very conscious of that and like trying to get a lot of protein in. But I didn't count my calories, and I did not realize how much I was eating. I didn't realize like how many calories are in a tablespoon of almond butter. Like all the stuff that my food was adding up to. Like, I was like, I'm eating so healthy, why am I gaining weight instead of losing weight? So obviously I've learned a lot throughout my time training and like, you know, just being in the gym and being a personal trainer. And I've learned to fill my body with foods that are like going to satiate me, and in a way that I'm not overeating, you know? Like, I eat a lot more. So when I started off, I would eat like 2 eggs and an egg white or something like that for breakfast with whatever on the side. And it would keep me hungry. So now it's like, okay, egg whites are a little bit less calories. They're actually like a third of the calories of an egg. I'm like, I'll dump in the egg whites and I'll have more and I'll be more full afterwards. So just little things like that. And again, I know that not everyone can track in a healthy way. So if you find that it's not healthy for your mindset, my best recommendation in that case would be to talk to a food therapist. Like, if you listened a few episodes ago, my interview with Kelsey Collins, she gave very good advice on how she resolved her binge eating disorder, and now how she was able to grow a healthy relationship with food. Resources are out there. I highly, highly recommend taking them. It sucks seeing how many girls suffer from having such a warped, messed up relationship with food these days. It like truly, truly breaks my heart. A lot of it is things that we see online. We create like, this is good, this is bad relationships with food, and then we end up like binging on food because we starve ourselves of it for so long. It sucks. It sucks how many people have unhealthy relationships with food, and there are resources like food therapists out there where if you are fortunate and you have healthcare insurance or can afford it, I say go for it. It's the same thing as like me going to my regular therapist. I got to a point where I was like, I'm unhealthy mentally. I need help. I need help building my relationship with myself. So I got a therapist, and my therapist does a great job of guiding me on that path. Shout out to her. She seriously is awesome. But yeah, so I'm going to go over, I figured like to wrap up my little tidbit here and actually make it educational. I don't know why I said wrap up. To make it like educational, I'm going to give off some tips on how to make sure you're nourishing your body correctly and get to like an appropriate amount of food. So my first tip, if you're not sure what you should be eating for your body, I would highly recommend talking to a trainer. Certified personal trainers, at least through NASM, which is what I have, are taught about macronutrients and stuff. So I give out macro plans, really cheap, like $10. I would love to help set you on the right path. You can also read up on it. So basically, I went over this a little bit during my bulking episode a few months ago, but our bodies have a set amount of calories that we will burn every day if we do absolutely nothing. Obviously, exercising makes that number go up since we're burning more when we exercise. So what we burn in a day is called our maintenance calories. So my maintenance, I'll use myself as an example, consists of my basal metabolic rate, which is how much I would burn in a day doing nothing, plus my active calories. That's my maintenance. On a day that I'm not active, my maintenance obviously goes down because I'm not burning as much. The more active you are, the more you burn in a day, the more you need to eat. That's like, I think that part's pretty simple. You guys are still following along with me, hopefully. So to figure out how much we eat, like should be eating in a day, we take your weight, because your weight is your body mass. It doesn't matter your height. It doesn't matter your gender. It just matters the mass of your body. That has an effect on that basal metabolic rate. Somebody who's 100 pounds is made up of less. They're going to burn less naturally in a day than somebody who's 200 pounds because they're double the weight. That's the science there. I lost my train of thought. I was talking about myself. Oh, yeah. So we take our weight and we multiply it by an activity factor. For those that are very, very active, that number is going to be higher because, like I said, you burn more. For those that aren't really active, the number is going to be lower. So there's like a whole scale, and you kind of just, you plop yourself where like you truly think that you are, or in my case, I would do that for you. And that's how you get it. Easier way without all that. If you have an Apple Watch, I'm not sure about Fitbit because I only have an Apple Watch. It actually tells you in your health app how much you burn in a day. So I'm going to go into my phone really quick just so I can walk you guys through it. If you want to go along with me, class, students, I will stop now. So go into your health app, the little white one with the pink heart, and go down to, so in my favorites, I already have it, but you can go to show all health data on that summary page. On the top part, it'll say activity. So today, I've burned 476 active calories so far. So it says active energy. Right under that, it says resting energy. And that's how much I've burned so far today. If you click on each, it'll give you a bar chart and it'll show you what, like, by week or by month, about how much you burn naturally in a day. So I burn around 1450 calories naturally. That's my basal metabolic rate. Then I can go into my active energy and see the average from there and add those two together. And that's your maintenance. Does that make sense? Like the Apple Watch one is really, really easy. And again, if you guys, like, I know that this can be very difficult to understand, especially just hearing me talk about it. But if you're confused, DM me, leave a review, leave a comment. I'm here to help, folks. I truly am here to help, and I have something in my eye. But anyway, after you figure out what you're eating, and let's say you are under eating, sadly, this sounds so silly, but pick more calorie-dense foods. That's really it, you know? People ask me all the time, or like I get it from my clients saying like, I cannot eat this many carbs. I cannot eat this many calories in a day. You can. You just need to choose different options, you know? So like I talked about this a few weeks ago. When I'm cutting, I have 100-calorie English muffins. I love English muffins. I eat them all the time. But when I'm cutting, I'm eating less calories, so I'll use the 100-calorie ones. If you're undereating, if you're finding yourself undereating, do not buy the 100-calorie English muffins. Go for the regular ones that are like 140 or 160. Increase your portion sizes. Add some more like fatty foods into the mix, like almond butter, avocados, have nuts for a snack. Wow, we're going to move on from that sentence. But looking at food labels and picking smarter options for yourself, no matter what direction you're trying to go in, will help you. So if you find, the advice I gave to my friend yesterday when she realized that she was undereating, I'm like, take a look at what granola bar that you eat every day. Maybe there's one that has 30, 40 extra calories. There you go. Maybe instead of having an apple, have a banana. Banana's got like 40 more calories than, I said 20 and then 40 and the real number's 30. Like just pick more, like smarter, more calorie dense options. You know, you have to pay attention for a little bit. And then once you kind of get into the groove and know what your body can be fueled on to reach your maintenance, it becomes a lot easier. So it's definitely trial and error. There are apps like MyFitnessPal. I put in my meals the night before since I meal prep. So I can go through the day being like, okay, this is what I got to eat. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry for the guys that are watching me on YouTube. I literally have something in my eye. But yeah, you'll get the hang of it. But I like to plug my stuff in the night before, just meals-wise, see where I can add. Like, I'm like, I'm 100 calories under. You know what? Let me add a little bit more chicken to my plate. Or, like, let me put a little ketchup on or something, you know? When in doubt, sauces, great way to up those calories. And I know this is a very sensitive subject, obviously, anytime I talk about food. So thank you for bearing with me. But it really is something that you guys need to pay attention to. Our bodies are meant to be fueled. Carbs give us energy. So if you're under eating a lot on carbs, you're going to find yourself to be very tired. And I want to close out with this one sentence. Eating at your maintenance will not make you gain weight. It's maintenance. Under eating and then binging on the weekends, that's going to fuck up your stomach. So don't be scared at this whole idea of me talking about increasing your food. I'm talking about those who are under eating, so we need to get up to our healthy levels. Like a max deficit that anyone should be in intentionally is minus 500 of their maintenance. So let's get to a healthy spot, and that's it, I think. I feel like I just rambled a lot, and I don't know if I gave too much educational, or I didn't give enough like educational value points, like learning lessons, but it's something that I want you guys to think of this week and be mindful. I wanted to raise awareness. That's what I should say. Since I see it in a lot of girls, I want you to ask yourself, are you under eating? Do you actually know if you're not under eating? And take it from there. So yeah, hopefully you got a little something out of that. I don't know. Folks, it is time for questions. I've got my phone out. We are ready to go. I got a few good ones this week. Gonna go over the deal like I do every single week. I put up a question box, poll, whatever, on my Instagram every single Monday, so you could look for it on the story. You could also leave questions in the reviews to this podcast. You can DM them to me, or you can put them on my blog, which is on my website. So here are this week's questions. First one says, what made you start online coaching? And I want to start off by clarifying here, I don't coach, I train. So I'm a certified personal trainer. Coaches do a little bit more. I focus on, it's the same thing. I do the same thing online that I would do with my clients in person. We build workouts together. We make sure that we're doing things correctly and consistently. We build exercise goals and work towards those. I check their form. We work on progressive overload and stuff. I think a lot of these quote unquote coaches just reuse people's plans or whatever because they need to spend more time like talking to their clients and like kind of being there. Like, this sounds awful and I don't want you to get the wrong idea, but it's like, I'm your trainer. And for my trainer, like I'm always saying, ask me questions whenever. I will always answer. Even my in-person clients that I still have through Rutgers, I'm like, text me if you have questions. But I'm not here to create a meal plan for you. That's what registered dietitians do. I can't put your life in order. Can't create like a whole daily schedule for you and stuff, but I can be your trainer and I can help you in that physical space and work on that with you. So what made me want to start online was just the fact that I found a way to make it possible. I have in-person experience, obviously, and I love to do it. But as my page started to grow, I was like, this is something that I can take online with me. I just need to figure out a way that I can do it so it has the same value to I'm providing the same value to my online clients as I am to my in-person clients. I think the only downfall to online training versus in-person is that obviously I can't see every single exercise and rep that they do. I ask a lot of times for them to send me videos of their form so I can take a look at it, and that's how we go about that. But in person, obviously, I'm standing next to someone, like with my own eyeballs, being able to see every single rep. But what I do with my clients is all of their workouts come with videos. So before the workout, I always recommend before so it doesn't disrupt your flow. They can go in and see an example of how the exercise should look as if I was there in person doing it in front of them. And they can log what weights they use for each exercise. They mark when a workout is done so we can make sure we're working on progressive overload. And it's fantastic. I love all my clients very, very much. And hopefully they feel the same with me. Next question is from Mary Page. How do you deal with not being able to lift while on vacation? Very good question. So I don't know if I've talked about this on my podcast. I definitely have on my Instagram, but I don't think on the podcast. So listen, I've never gone on a vacation that was more than like a week, a little bit over a week. 1 week off isn't going to kill you, And that's like, I feel like I've gotten to a place with my mind where I'm okay with it and I've accepted it, but you really just have to, everything honestly is mindset. It sounds so stupid, but like, you know, when you're a kid and they would say mind over matter, that's literally what everything is. Don't underestimate the power of your brain, you know? I have to keep reinforcing myself, hey, you're on vacation. Take a look around you. The space you're in is beautiful. You have so many activities planned. The gym will be there next week. It is one freaking week off. Chill out. That being said, it depends on the circumstances. I did work out some days when I went to California in the summer because honestly, I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't sleep past like 6 a.m., which was 9 a.m. Eastern time. So I did a little workout in the morning, and it was my kind of time to be alone. I went on a vacation with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. So my mornings and like my tiny little workouts was just a way for me to be alone. Like, okay, peace and quiet. Liz is by herself in her happy space, letting out some energy so she doesn't explode during the day. And it was a great vacation. So it's really it's like if I have the time to do it, I'll do it, but I don't break my back for it, you know, not on vacation. Next question is from Dan, I think. Do you have a favorite post-workout meal? I typically eat dinner after I work out, so I feel like it would be like, what is my favorite dinner? And that's a tough one. I don't think I have a favorite, but anything with like pasta in it will fill me right up. Like I was making pasta with like a nice like creamy tomato sauce and chicken sausage. That fills me up. So I'm going to go with anything with a pasta dish. Next question's from Katie. What are some podcasts you follow? Great question. I only follow 2 podcasts. So I follow Unwaxed by Sophia and Sistine Stallone. I liked it a lot when they started, but lately it's just been getting a little like, I've watched too much Chicks in the Office that I'm like Unwaxed is like, and they took a little break too. So I'm like, they just like kind of talk about their lives. Like there's nothing else to it, but it's still good. It's like, kind of makes you feel like you have sisters if you don't. So that's what I liked about it. But I am a huge Chicks in the Office listener. Huge Chicks gal. That's my number 1 podcast. I listen to them. I watch them on YouTube. I really hope I see Rhea at SantaCon in Hoboken next weekend. Somebody tell her, if you know her, that I just said that. But Chicks in the Office is fantastic. If you're into pop culture, you got to give them a listen. Rhea and Fran are hysterical, and they're everything I try to channel when I sit down and do these every week. Who knows? Maybe I'll meet them one day. Last question is from Hannah. How do you feel about athletes using cannabis to help with training, example, appetite and pain tolerance? So the appetite part depends. If you're using cannabis to suppress your appetite, which I don't think it does, then I don't really agree with that. If you're finding that you're under eating and stuff and cannabis makes you hungrier, then sure, go for it. I personally do not smoke weed. I don't do it. I don't like it. Not for me. I'll drink. Thank you. But if you're using cannabis and you're not actively exercising, then I say go for it. I really don't condone exercising under any sort of influence. And a lot of people argue that they're very like clear-headed highs. Does that make sense? Like not drunks, but highs. Smokers? I don't know. I don't care. If you're under any sort of influence, you could seriously risk hurting yourself. If you're using it afterwards to help with pain tolerance and stuff, fair game. Just please do not try and play a sports game. Hi. Please. And that's it. Those are, with that being said, my statement of please do not play sports high, that is it for questions this week. pretty much wraps up this week's episode of Confessions of a Gym Rat. Before I go, I need to leave you with a song recommendation, but I also wanted to point out that Gym Rat merchandise is up on my website, www.liftswithliz.com. It's cheaper, not in quality, but price point than what it was, because now I'm not outsourcing it anymore. It is all in-house, baby, literally, my home. So check that out. You can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and I think they're a pretty cool design. They're not really branded with my name on it either, so it's not obnoxious. Anyway, this week's song suggestion, I have been in a huge Harry Styles phase lately. That guy can fucking sing. Let me tell you that. But I'm going to leave you guys with Kiwi by Harry Styles. If you don't listen to Harry Styles or all you know is like watermelon sugar, hi, whatever, go listen to Kiwi. Very different and showcases a lot more of Harry's talent than watermelon sugar. Anyway, make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Lifts with Liz, and I will talk to you guys next Monday. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube as well if you want to keep seeing my face.